These scenes are not of a natural flood. They depict one of the most ingenious and devastatingly precise logistical traps in the history of modern warfare. Between October 25th and 27th, 2025, Ukraine unleashed a sequence of calculated strikes on a key reservoir dam in Russia's Belgorod region, effectively turning geography into a weapon. Reports confirm the dam's gates were obliterated, its structure shattered, and an unstoppable surge of water now engulfs the Seversky Donets River, swallowing entire Russian positions. What began as another skirmish has turned into an unprecedented catastrophe. Tens of thousands of Russian troops in Belgorod now face death by drowning, while nearly 500,000 civilians are in chaos, some fleeing, others watching helplessly. Amid this unfolding disaster, the question arises, where is Vladimir Putin's attention? At the very peak of this catastrophe, October 26, 27th, Moscow itself came under one of the largest drone barrages in its history. The Kremlin scrambled everything, air defense systems, mobile units, even pickup trucks mounted with heavy guns to protect the capital. Yet Ukrainian drones reportedly broke through the shield. President Volodymyr Zelensky announced that Ukraine had deployed its new Flamingo and Router missiles, marking their first combat use, and warned that more were coming. The symbolism was unmistakable, a double strike that shook both Belgorod and Moscow, pushing Russia to the edge of an internal collapse. As the Belgorod dam burst, chaos rippled across the front lines. The regional governor declared a state of emergency, with soldiers abandoning their vehicles and tanks as the ground turned to sludge. Videos posted by trapped Russian troops revealed trenches transformed into canals, command posts underwater, and units stranded without direction. Meanwhile, as his army drowned, Putin was seen proudly overseeing the test of a new intercontinental ballistic missile, a hollow display of strength at a time when his forces were literally sinking. To add to the humiliation, Lithuania closed the Kaliningrad border, further isolating Russia, while the EU increased military aid to Ukraine. In a bizarre twist, Donald Trump appeared alongside Orbán and Lukashenko, posing for symbolic peace photos, an image of calm diplomacy as Moscow's grip disintegrated. The strategic reality was brutal. In his obsession to fortify Moscow and St. Petersburg, Putin had stripped air defenses from critical regions like Belgorod, leaving them exposed. This shift made the dam strike possible and devastating. Ukrainian planners, exploiting this vulnerability, executed a 3-day precision operation that unleashed nature itself upon Russia's army. Open-source imagery shows what remains: submerged bunkers, flooded supply depots, and brigade HQs drowned beneath brown torrents. A dark joke spread online: "We don't have trenches anymore, we have canals." Behind the humor lay panic and ruin. The Vovchansk front, dependent on bridges now underwater, has been severed completely. At least 4 Russian brigades, the 128th, 116th, 68th, and 136th Motorized Infantry, along with airborne and guard units from Russia's 6th Army and 44th Corps, are trapped. Thousands of troops, hundreds of tanks, and tons of ammunition now lie stranded in mud. Their logistics artery has been cut, their lines of retreat have vanished. The operation unfolded with surgical precision. Ukraine didn't waste resources targeting heavily defended bridges guarded by S-400 and Pantsir systems. Instead, they struck the Belgorod Reservoir Dam, the hidden linchpin controlling the water level of the Seversky Donets River, an overlooked point in Russia's entire logistical network. The mission began Saturday, October 25th, continuing through October 27th with relentless pressure. Ukrainian forces reportedly combined HIMARS rockets for pinpoint strikes with kamikaze drone swarms, overwhelming Russian defenses. By Sunday afternoon, the dam's final gate gave way. Satellite footage confirmed both floodgates destroyed, the lower channels blown open, and the reservoir's water level plunging. Within hours, a torrent cascaded downstream, annihilating supply routes, bridges, and outposts. This wasn't just flooding, it was asymmetric warfare perfected. With minimal munitions, Ukraine turned water into a weapon of mass paralysis. The flood neutralized more ground than any artillery barrage could. The Seversky Donets transformed into a barrier, swallowing Russia's logistics hub and cutting off the Vovchansk axis entirely. The consequences are apocalyptic. Russian soldiers now sit trapped in submerged trenches, their ammunition soaked, their food and fuel gone. The mud immobilized tanks, trucks, and artillery. Entire regiments are isolated. Analysts describe it as a suffocation zone. No supplies in, no retreat out. Many may drown or surrender. Strategically, this marks one of Ukraine's most brilliant counter-moves of the war. Instead of striking strength, they struck structure. Rather than waste missiles on fortified bridges, they hit the invisible heart of the system, the dam, and let physics do the rest. This precision flooding also exposed a fatal truth. Russia's air defense network is overstretched. Two possibilities emerge. Either Belgorod systems were too weak to repel the assault, or they had been relocated to protect Moscow. In either case, the cost was catastrophic. The brigades now trapped in the Belgorod basin may be paying for Putin's obsession with shielding his capital. The symbolism runs deeper. In June 2023, Russia's destruction of the Kakhovka Dam created an ecological disaster and temporarily slowed Ukraine's southern counteroffensive. Now, the tables have turned. The Belgorod operation is not only militarily brilliant, it's poetic justice. Inside Russia, the fallout was immediate. As floodwaters rose, the Belgorod governor Vyacheslav Gladkov reluctantly admitted the dam had been hit. Hours later, Kremlin propaganda went into overdrive, claiming technical failures and maintenance issues. But the truth was impossible to hide. Satellite photos, soldier videos, and local footage flooded social media. Entire villages submerged, trenches disappeared, the Kremlin's narrative collapsed. Gladkov eventually declared a state of emergency, ordering evacuations of 10 settlements. His frustration spilled online in leaked posts, allegedly cursing Ukraine's strikes. Damn, AFU! A rare glimpse of panic within Russian ranks. Meanwhile, Putin's silence was deafening. The regime that once boasted of invincibility was now mocked by its own citizens. On Russian social media, despair turned to ridicule. Our soldiers are swimming to the front line. We traded trenches for canals. The laughter cut deep, the people no longer feared their leaders, they mocked them. For a regime built on propaganda, this was a fatal fracture. The Belgorod disaster revealed not just military incompetence, but political rot. Civilians in Belgorod and Bryansk, already suffering from blackouts, shortages, and attacks, saw the truth. The Kremlin cannot protect its own people. This could ignite the embers of unrest inside Russia's border regions, long neglected while Moscow funneled resources north. From a purely tactical perspective, Ukraine's strike achieved total victory. The flood obliterated bridges, drowned command centers, and erased 4 brigades from the battlefield. With logistics cut, these troops faced 2 options: a desperate retreat through mud or mass surrender. Either outcome spells the collapse of the Vovchansk front and the end of Russia's offensive momentum there. By targeting a single dam, Ukraine didn't just destroy infrastructure, it crippled a front, humiliated the Kremlin, and exposed the vulnerability of a regime that prizes spectacle over strategy. Between October 25th and 27th, in just 72 hours, Ukrainian precision transformed nature into an ally. The dam strike didn't just wash away Russian trenches, it drowned Putin's war plans, his soldiers, and his illusions of control. Now, in the muddy chaos of Belgorod, thousands of Russian troops sit stranded, hungry, freezing, and leaderless while their president celebrates missile tests. The water continues to rise, and it's not just drowning soldiers, it's engulfing the credibility of Putin's entire regime.